so let's see what it can do. Hello YouTube, this is Jim from County Corvette. I have got a 70 El Camino Super Sport 396. These cars are kind of close to my heart. My dad always had these cars growing up, and they're just cool. They're trucks, basically. They're titled as trucks, and for all intents and purposes, they were used as trucks. And it's pretty unusual that any survived past 1975, but this one held up good. This car's showing 29,000 miles. I can't assert that that's original or not. But what I can tell you is the bed, the quarter panels, the tailgate, it's all original parts on this car. And that's pretty unusual. For the most part, these things, the beds were pulverized because, again, they were used as trucks. And this one's pretty nice. Now, it does have a cowl induction hood, and that, I believe it's a good mark reproduction hood. Doesn't fit great. It's got a little bow to it here, and you know, it was probably not a cowl induction hood car, but I don't know the history of it. This car came from a good customer of ours. He bought it from the Volo Museum, I believe it was, some years ago, and we maintained it for probably the past 8 or so years. Now, in looking the car over, I do own the car. I did examine it pretty well. This is the original engine in this car. It's not a restamp, it's the original engine. It's got the original, correct casting number, but the stamp is good. I had actually a couple other guys look at it. Even had Jerry McNeish take a look at it. He liked it. A lot of nice original parts. The carburetor is original on this, and it is a 350. Now these were 402s, by the way. They were listed as 396s, but they were 60,000 bored over 396s and all 402s, but they kept the 396. I guess they didn't want to spring for new insignias or whatever, but that's the way the General did it. So it's got original exhaust manifolds, correct original Harrison radiator. It's a power steering, power brake car. Original blue car, and the engine really it looks to me to be pretty original. I looked at this thing pretty carefully. It doesn't look like it was recently rebuilt, but I got to tell you, and you'll see this thing runs great. It's a 4-speed car. This is not the original transmission in it. I don't know what happened to that over the years, but that's been changed out. The interior is nice in the car. It's a bench seat car. It's got some, reproduction stuff on it, door panels, seat covers. Headliner's nice. It's just very nice and presentable in here. I have good pictures of the bed, and it's dinged up a little bit in there, but I mean, it's still pretty nice. So, generally speaking, this is a really nice high-level driver El Camino, but it does have a lot of original integrity to it, and who knows where you could go with the car. But it's been painted for a long time. The paint's held up well. There's no rust showing up on the outside, no rust bubbles anywhere. Just good solid. The frame looks, rust-free and all that. The high wear parts have been changed on it. And it's just a cool car, like I said. And I grew up with these things, and I was a young kid, and my father probably had a half dozen of these things, and they were used as trucks back then by him, but they were just kind of cool trucks, and just a cool part of growing up in the 70s. So let's go for a ride. All right, here we go. Now, as I said, this car has power steering, power brakes. Very easy car to drive. Brakes actually really work well on this thing. And all the controls work. I was going through them and did everything. It's not an air car, but all the stuff works as it should. It does have a Panasonic radio in here, and that is not correct. But the good news is it doesn't look like they hacked anything up putting it in there. going through all the numbers on this thing, I did notice the original carburetor on here. It was obviously remanufactured properly, because that thing is fresh. I don't know if we did it for the prior client, because he did have it for a long time. Actually, this car was a father and son deal, and we kept it in nice shape for him. But all that said, it's pretty correct under there, and it runs good. Whoa, cowl induction. All right, so that works too. I gave it a little kick in the butt, and it woke up a little bit. It's a 350 horse, not a 375 horse, but those things are actually extraordinarily rare. Most of these cars were 325 horse cars, and this one's a step in between. Now there's no tack in this car, but I believe it's a 370 rear in here, original 12-bolt rear, and it just feels like that's where it's geared. But yeah, we track nice and straight here. Doesn't have any weird habits. Just a nice straight driver. I'm not going to try to make this light here. All the indicators are working right. Oh, and it does have a tilt wheel, which is really nice. Some of the bigger guys, a pretty big guy can actually fit in this car. I actually feel like a child in here. I've got the seat up pretty far. I'm on the short side of 5'7", so some of these bigger Chevelles, I don't fit too terribly well in it, particularly with a bench seat. Sound system in this car is, I'm not even going to call it a sound system. It's a radio. If it's stereo, I have a hard time discerning that. They were never all that great. This one's less than great, but it is what it is. These old El Caminos get some heads turning. These things have actually come into vogue. A lot of the millennials like these cars. Maybe I can't say a lot of them, but I mean enough of them to make it an interesting dynamic. But they are cool cars. It's in between a truck and a muscle car, and I mean, hell, if I owned this thing, I'd be using it to run to Home Depot, because that's just what it was designed for, and have a little bit of fun on the way there. All right, so let's see what it can do. Whoa! Whoa! This thing giddy ups, man. I don't like it. This is a good running car. I never took it out and really ran it up there like that, but it's actually exceeded my expectations, honestly. This thing is kind of cool. So, if you're looking for a good run in El Camino that you're not going to have to put money into, take a good look at this one, because it's got some provenance. Like I said, it's an original stamped, motor. Not a lot of them out there. The transmission, like I said, it's been changed out. Not a big deal. I don't think you're going to take this car to McCacken without spending some money on it. But, for what it's priced at, it's a lot of bang for the buck. And we take trades, we make deals. So if you're in the market for an El Camino, this is a good one. Check it out. Hey, thanks for watching.